Hello there. Thank you for choosing Citizen TV on this 19th day of July it's August 2025. Well, the last time I was here was in July. My name is Sam Gituku, sitting in for Yvonne Okwara, and tonight on the Citizen Explainer, we're speaking to former Cabinet Secretary Moses Kuria, who is here to talk to us about his opinion on several matters affecting the nation. You've seen the developments that have been in the country over the last few days and weeks. We'll be talking about that. You can send in your questions and concerns at Citizen TV Kenya at Sam Gituku. The hashtag to use is Citizen Explainer. But first, here are the top stories tonight. Anti-corruption offensive. President Ruto forms multi-agency team comprising 10 agencies, including EACC, NIS, ODPP, and DCI to tackle graft.
We are actually doing active investigations on various individuals, and as and when that kind of information is available, we'll share with members of the public, or you'll see the consequences.
Joining the extortion probe, EACC trains guns at members of parliament suspected of extortion.
For the president to come and explain who are those people who are demanding bribes, who are those people who are given bribes, because you cannot try parliament in a kangaroo court.
I have received some letters about members that I would have presented to the agencies on different things.
We are not extortionists. Members of parliament fight back extortion claims as Speaker Wetangula admits receiving complaints about some MPs. Chan 2024 ticketing provider MOOC holds ticket sales for Harambee Stars versus Madagascar quarter-final clash set for Friday. Good evening. Our sign language interpreter is Yola Nzale. Tonight, President William Ruto has established an 11-member multi-agency team to coordinate the war against corruption. The president says the move is part of reinforcing the war against corruption as a whole-of-government initiative. Independent offices like the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions and the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission will now be required to nominate representatives to the team to be headed by an official from the Executive Office of the President. Stephen Letona reports on the latest presidential initiative following Ruto's spirited accusations against Parliament that it is becoming a free market of corruption and extortion.
Within just 5 days, President Ruto has made his disquiet over parliamentary corruption clear. During a plenary on the implementation of the 10-point agenda, he singled out Senate and National Assembly committees for soliciting bribes, warning that some members could face prosecution.
We are not going to shame them. We are going to arrest them. Yes. Where does somebody find 150 million? Where?
On Tuesday afternoon, in what appears to be an intensified crusade against graft, the head of state who had jetted to Japan outlined a series of measures to slay the corruption dragon and strengthen government integrity. The president seemingly taking powers away from the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, redistributing them to a multi-agency team through a presidential proclamation. The proclamation reads that by the authority vested in me by the Constitution, do hereby proclaim that a multi-agency team on war against corruption is hereby established within the strategic objective of creating synergy and intransigency cooperation in the fight against corruption, economic crimes, and related offenses. End quote. The multi-agency team that will be chaired by the Executive Office of the President and Secretariat headed by the Office of the Attorney General brings together the National Intelligence Service NIS, the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission EACC, the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions ODPP, the Directorate of Criminal Investigations DCI, the Financial Reporting Center, the Asset Recovery Agency, the Kenya Revenue Authority KRA, the Central Bank of Kenya CBK, and the Public Procurement Regulatory Authority PPRA. The proclamation further noted that the multi-agency team may co-opt additional representation from other designated agencies to enhance its objectives. The multi-agency team has been tasked to coordinate and engage other relevant agencies, organs of government and the private sector to enhance the effectiveness of the anti-graft campaign. President William Ruto's remarks have rubbed MPs the wrong way and drawn mixed reactions from members of the public. Stephen Letos, Citizen TV.
At the same time, the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, EACC, has launched investigations into members of parliament accused of demanding bribes. This comes after President William Ruto warned that lawmakers have turned parliament into a marketplace for extortion. EACC Chairperson Dr. David Oginde says the commission is already tracking several legislators implicated, warning that no one will be spared once evidence is gathered. Willie Lusige has more.
Bribery allegations in the August House have now caught the eye of the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, days after President William Ruto accused lawmakers of turning parliament into a den of extortion.
Chapter 6 of the Constitution.
EACC has confirmed it is pursuing active investigations, promising to hold every implicated member accountable.
We are actually doing active investigations on various individuals, and as and when that kind of information is available, we'll share with members of the public, or you'll see the consequences in the various levels of the legal system.
The probe covers allegations ranging from bribery and influencing legislation to inflated allowances, misuse of constituency development funds, and claims that senior officials are being forced to pay protection fees.
Misuse of CDF, constituency development funds, inflated allowances, payments by various individuals who want themselves to be protected.
The anti-graft body says it has already met the Speaker of the National Assembly and Senate and will consult them again, emphasizing that Parliament is a privileged institution and the cooperation is crucial for the success of the investigations.
We would like to find out, are there specific individuals who are particularly engaged in this, and what can be done, not just to punish the current one, but to stop the whole process completely, so that those people who may have been hiding behind politics, behind patronage, would then have nowhere to hide when we go for them.
Civil society organizations have also weighed in, urging the president to substantiate his remarks by presenting evidence to investigative agencies.
So if he has evidence, we hope that he has already provided it to the investigating authorities. If he hasn't, we expect that he will provide that evidence so that thorough investigations can be made.
The Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission has said it has begun investigating allegations that Parliament has been turned into a den of corruption, but insisting Parliament being a privileged space, the success of the probe depends on its leadership. Willie Lusige, Citizen TV, Nairobi.
And staying with that story, members of parliament who have come under sharp criticism from the executive of alleged extortion claims have hit back, demanding House speakers to summon President William Ruto to provide evidence over the allegations. The MPs who held a session in the National Assembly to discuss the president's sentiments say it will not be business as usual going forward. The legislators fought back even as National Assembly Speaker Moses Wetangula admitted receiving complaints against some of the MPs' conduct. Gatete Njoroge has that story.
The fact that we kept quiet.
The House business in the National Assembly was suspended as charged members of Parliament took a united front and mounted a beeline attack on President William Ruto, who for 2 occasions has trained his guns on MPs he claims are extorting county and national government officials.
Who gave the alleged inducement? Number 3, what was the purpose of the inducement?
How many pipes are leaking government revenue to private pockets? Do your work as members of parliament. Let us call them out. Let us take the war to them.
The MPs who questioned the sudden hostility from the executive say the allegations are more political than a genuine fight against corruption, which could be more rampant in the executive than the legislature.
It must be that they want to salvage their political aspirations at the expense of the members. They must have realized that Many members perhaps are unpopular, and so they want to throw them under the bus.
If you're the president, you know those who are stealing. Why don't you arrest them? Why do you come to tell us? What do I have to do with it? You are the president. You are saying you want to fight corruption. And you know those who are stealing. What are you waiting for?
If it is corruption everywhere, and it must be fought in that manner. But if you want to make it sectional, Mr. Speaker, then you lose the war on corruption.
As the MPs fought the allegations on the floor of the House, members of Senate County Public Accounts Committee were breathing fire, asking House speakers to summon President Ruto to adduce evidence over claims that governors are asked to part with up to 150 million shillings in bribes.
For the president to come and explain who are those people who are demanding bribes? Who are those people who are given bribes? Because you cannot try parliament in a kangaroo court.
But even as the leaders put a strong defense, National Assembly Speaker Moses Wetangula admitted receiving complaints against some of the MPs whose conduct have caught the eyes of investigative agencies.
I have received some letters about members that I would have presented to the agencies on different things. Sometimes I call you, I talk to you, and you correct your ways. Let's also uphold our integrity. I have given you an opportunity this afternoon. Waswahili wanasema muue mkala, lakini haki yake mpe.
The MPs and senators now say the Riot Act from the executive will not deter them from executing their mandate as stipulated in the Constitution.
Order, honorable members.
Gatete Njoroge, Citizen TV, Nairobi.
Honorable members.
We'll shortly be speaking to the former Cabinet Secretary Moses Kuria regards to that development on the war against corruption shortly from now. But first, the coalition of human rights organizations, lawyers and health professionals has strongly condemned the government's decision to charge dozens of arrested protesters with terrorism. Many of those who were arrested during the June 25th and Sabasaba demonstrations are now facing what advocates call state-sanctioned abuse aimed at silencing dissent. Protesters who have been released on bail narrated acts of torture while indicating that many of them are helpless as they cannot post the high bail. Melita Oletenges reports.
The aftermath of the June 25th and Sabasaba protests remains harrowing for many of those who were arrested and later slapped with terrorism charges.
So after that, nilijipata ITPU, anti-terrorism. Sasa nimekuwa mtera, nimekuwa Al-Shabaab. Sasa mimi nashangaa. Wana evidence yangu wanitatera. Itakuwaje? Mimi nikajipatia moyo. Wakatuambia kesho tunaenda Kahawa koti.
Wakati nilipata rafiki yangu mwenye alikuwa ameshutiwa tumbo amekufa, mimi niliisha nguvu na nikafaint. Na wenye walichukua video yangu imetumika, hiyo video ndo wanatumika, naitwa terrorist, but I'm okay. Kwa sababu hao maheroes walikufa juu wakipigania haki.
Some protesters remained in custody because they couldn't afford bail, reporting to have suffered in the hands of the police.
Sasa sina mtu akunitolea hizo pesa, nikapelekwa Lang'ata main prison, nikakaa huko mwezi moja na kitu. Sasa nikajiuliza sasa mimi nimefanya nini sasa, Mungu ako wapi nini?
Civil society groups under the 50 Million Kenyans campaign have stepped in to offer legal support and post bail for several of the arrested youth. They say the terrorism charges are baseless and oppressive.
A number of our clients have indicated to us that they were assaulted, that they were coerced, some of them were tortured while in the remand centers.
We are meeting young people who have bullets inside of them. When they're in police custody, we have to negotiate for and try to fast track their bailout so that they can access medical services.
The group say over 75 Kenyans have been charged with terrorism, a move they argue is both unjustified and excessive, especially as Al-Shabaab-related incidents in Kenya have significantly declined. They are now demanding that the government explain why protesters are being prosecuted as terrorists. Melita Oletenges, Citizen TV.
Right, and now we want to speak to the former Cabinet Secretary, Moses Kuria, who is here with us in studio. Honorable Moses, it's good to see you this evening.
Good to see you, Sam.
Great, and let's begin with the developments. The latest one being the appointment, the establishment of that multi-agency team by the President to fight corruption. What's your take on this?
Well, as far as I'm concerned, any effort that goes to fighting this, scourge of corruption is welcome. So there's no real wasted effort. You cannot say that this is a waste or it's not the right thing to do. And there's no one thing that can be done that will surface that or can, actually replace all the other mechanisms. So I think it is good. I only have two concerns. One, I would have expected the president to name not a whole of government approach, but a whole of society approach. I mean, broaden it beyond government. In fact, the mere leadership of that team being under the executive office of the president would point to some very worrying situation, because it is actually a team that can sit together and agree or connive on what to do. There's no external checks and balances, and we have been through that before. Right. We've seen weaponization.
Because I'm looking at that team, it has, of course, like
the composition
the chairmanship is the executive office of the president.
Absolutely.
ESCC are members to it, office of the director of public prosecution.
These people already have the mandate, one way or the other.
And this
without the executive office of the president.
Yeah.
And now all of them now have been taken under the management of the executive office of the president. So one, these are people already with the mandate to fight corruption. Yeah, there's nothing new. Yeah, the only new thing is that there's a prefect now called the executive office of the president, which is going to, brings to question impartiality or, how independent, that multi-agency team could be. If it was a whole of society approach, it would make more sense, to have the church, to have somebody else, people who would ensure that, that process is serious, is sustainable, and has got some element of fairness. But right now, purely on the basis of composition, I've got my doubt. And the other doubt, of course, is the timing. Because you would have expected, this coming less than 24 hours after what happened at KCB Karen is just by that only, suspicious.
Okay.
And on that, Parliament and Judiciary have not been, they are not represented in that team.
Yeah.
Yeah. And two, it would have made sense to have that yesterday and then the public proclamation today. Because I remember during the times of President Uhuru Kenyatta, the people, those of us who are supporting William Ruto, were accusing Uhuru Kenyatta of an unsystematic approach on the war against corruption. Like knee-jerk or weaponization or not thought through, instead of institutionalization. So I think more and more we are heading in that direction.
Non-systematic approach.
Non-systematic approach. Because there's a cry yesterday, a multi-agency today. Because there is, we need to create a process, a sustainable, long-term, institutionalized process that can be able to show that we are serious on this war against corruption.
We'll get deeper to this conversation, but a quick one on the reaction by the members of parliament. They appear quite agitated. They want the president summoned. They want him to explain who are these members of parliament you're pointing at.
In the year 2020, Sam, and it was covered in the media, I complained as a Jubilee member of parliament that we were captured because we belong to the ruling party, and therefore the high borrowing and all that kind of thing, the uncontrolled expenditures were because we didn't have that independence. Being members of, remember I was in the budget committee.
Yes.
So today, to have a situation whereby the executive and parliament are fighting, Kenya is happier.
Kenya's happier.
We are better off.
We'll get back to that.
At least now, the yoke of stranglehold of parliament by the executive is over. I wish they continue fighting.
You think it is?
Thank you.
We'll dive deeper to those reactions in regards to what is happening on the fight against corruption and the members of parliament, what they've been saying the entire day. But first, the government has been granted temporary relief to import duty-free milled rice into the country. While lifting conservatory orders barring the importation of the commodity, the High Court, however, restricted the quantity of rice to be imported to only 250,000 metric tons to last for only 3 months. Seth Olale has that story.
While delivering his ruling on whether to extend or lift conservatory orders on importation of 500,000 metric tons of milled rice, Justice Murithi stated the respondents shall implement the Kenya Gazette notice to the extent only of importation of 250,000 metric tons of rice and for the period ending Friday 31st October 2025. The judge directed that the government avails in court a detailed report proving claims of rice scarcity in the country. In opposing the Gazette notice for the importation of 500,000 metric tons of rice, the petitioners argued that local rice farmers will suffer losses should importers be allowed to flood the local market with cheap duty-free rice.
Haijatu favor, juu sasa tunashindwa mchele, taenda wapi? Hatujafurahia.
The government insists on the importation on grounds that it was bridging a huge rice shortage in the country, which has already pushed prices to 230 shillings per kilogram, up from 150 shillings per kilo. Seth Olale, Citizen TV.
So the story about CHAN 2024, the sale of tickets for the CHAN quarter-final clash between Kenya and Madagascar was halted just 3 hours after going on sale, following a massive demand that crashed the website, leaving fans unable to purchase tickets. Ticketing company issued a statement saying fans could not buy tickets after bots flooded the site, blocking genuine buyers. The system is designed to place fans in a queue on a first-come, first-served basis, but the bots, that is autonomous internet programs, were automated to queue up to buy the tickets in bulk. Mook says it is now working to eliminate and block these bots to give genuine fans a fair chance to buy the tickets. Ticket prices have also increased. Regular tickets are now 250 shillings, up from 200 shillings, while silver tickets now cost 600 shillings, an increase of 100 shillings. To another story, leadership changes have swept through the Kenyatta National Hospital management amid recommendations by the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission to charge 11 suspects. We'll get to that story shortly from now, but first, the Harambee Stars' impressive run in the ongoing CHAN tournament has delivered more than just national pride. It has reignited hopes for the preservation of cherished community space in Babadogo. Beyond the pitch, the tournament has breathed new life into calls to safeguard the historic Babadogo playgrounds, a breeding ground for local football talent, including several breakout stars of this year's competition. In the wake of Harambee Stars' final group stage clash against Zambia at Kasarani Stadium, players used the moment to plead to President William Ruto to protect the grounds and ensure they remain in the hands of the community. Citizen TV's Ben Kirui has that story.
For years, aspiring young footballers have taken to the dusty pitch of Babadogo grounds, honing their skills and chasing dreams. But today, the very space that has nurtured countless talents is a subject of an escalating ownership dispute that threatens its survival. The ongoing CHAN 2024 tournament has become more than just a showcase of football prowess. It has offered a timely platform for both the players and the Babadogo community to urge the government to intervene.
Kiwanja pia imesaidia watu wengi, sisi wenyewe, mimi mwenyewe personally na wengine wengi, imetusaidia na imetoa talents nyingi sana hapa, na pia inaendelea kukuza talent zingine.
Viongozi wetu wazidi tu kutupigania, kwa sababu kiwanja hii ikienda, crime itakuwa juu sana, kwa sababu hii ni mitaa ya mabanda na vijana wengi hawana kazi.
The contested land has long been under threat, with persistent attempts by private developers to acquire it. But following Harambee Stars' final CHAN group stage match against Zambia at Kasarani, President William Ruto made a visit to the team's changing room, a visit that turned into a passionate plea for action.
Tunashukuru kwanza President kwa sababu ametusekiwa hii ground yetu ya Babadogo, na
tunataka tupushie kabisa kwa sababu imetoa mastaa.
Baba Dogo Playground has long served as a vital sporting hub, credited with nurturing football stars such as Harambee Stars captain Michael Olunga and Gor Mahia's duo Joshua Onyango and Austin Odhiambo.
Hapo ndo nimeanza kucheza boli yangu nikiwa mdogo. Until now, mi bado ucheza nikipata nafasi ya kurudi mtaa. Mi urudi nacheza nao cause hiyo ndo pride yangu kama Austin cause nimetoka hapo na nafurahia siku zote kutoka kwa hiyo kiwanja.
Despite ongoing legal battles over its ownership, President Ruto's directive has for now offered the Baba Dogo community a glimmer of hope.
So hii grao wakati mtu anataka kama chukue ana kill the whole community.
This ground has been a cradle of talent, producing breakout stars in the ongoing CHAN tournament and inspiring the next generation of footballers. But its future hangs in the balance as threats from private developers spark concern. The community, however, is resolute, vowing to defend the pitch to the very end. Ben Kiroi, Citizen TV, Baba Dogo Grounds, Nairobi.
And with that story from Baba Dogo, we're taking a short break here on The Explainer. But remember, we're speaking to former Cabinet Secretary Moses Kuria on his views in regards to recent developments. And of course, what he thinks about the politics of the country and the future as he sees it. Stay tuned for that. But first, here's what's coming up after the break.
The security sector is prepared to deal with any insecurity issues.
We are prepared. Interior CS Murkomen says police ready to handle potential unrest as Gachagua returns from his US tour.
Welcome back. Before we get back to the conversation with former Cabinet Secretary Moses Kuria, we first want to bring you some more stories, including that Interior Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen has cautioned DCP leader Rigathi Gachagua against disrupting peace in Nairobi on Thursday when he is expected back from the United States. Murkomen, who says security agencies are on high alert, has warned that the former deputy president could be arrested, citing intelligence reports indicating planned chaos on the day of his return. Kamaumongi reports.
With just over 40 hours to go before former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua returns from the United States, the stage appears set for a political showdown. Interior and National Administration Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen, speaking in Murang'a County on Tuesday during the 30th Jukwaa la Usalama, said security agencies are on high alert to ensure the DCP leader's return does not disrupt the country's peace.
The last time he was around, and there were so many goons in the same of protests, we were very prepared. And every other minute, the National Police Service is prepared to protect citizens and their property.
With Gachagua's party calling for over 1 million supporters to converge at the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport for his arrival, the government believes the move is a cover to disrupt business in Nairobi.
We, of course, are aware of those elements of threatening disruptions, threatening football, threatening all these other issues. I need to say that we will take legal action.
Murkomen also says the government will closely monitor Gachagua's political activities across the country.
The security agencies should be prepared for a more chaotic environment as a result of his coming back to the country. Let me say that the security sector is prepared to deal with any insecurity issues.
In its efforts to tackle the alcohol menace under the 100-day clampdown announced on Monday, the Interior Ministry says it has confiscated both unadulterated ethanol and counterfeit liquor from a notorious businessman in Murang'a County, valued at over 3 million Kenyan shillings. The Jukwaa la Usalama event moves to Nyandarua County on Wednesday. Kamaumongi, Citizen TV.
A ballistic expert has told the Kibera High Court that evidence analyzed at the DCI Forensic Laboratory failed to link former police officer Ahmed Rashid to the fatal shooting of 2 young men in Eastleigh in 2017. And as Franklin Walla now reports, witnesses in the murder trial, including investigating officers, were unable to prove that the accused was responsible for the shooting, despite a viral video showing Ahmed Rashid at the center of the shootout.
can fire and...
Tuesday morning, and the prosecution had lined up key witnesses to testify against former police officer Ahmed Rashid. In a case, he is accused of having fatally shot 2 young men in Isli on 31st March 2017. The court began by hearing testimony from a crime scene investigator who documented the area with the photographs. The session grew tense shortly after, as a ballistic expert who had examined the firearms and cartridges recovered from the scene took to the stand.
Some are unsuitable for comparative analysis.
Answer the question. How many guns were used to fire?
Commissioner Lawrence Ndiwa, using his expertise, guided the court through various exhibits submitted to the DCI Forensic Laboratory for examination. The items included an AK-47 rifle, 2 pistols, a toy pistol, 3 bullets, 4 bullet fragments, 3 rounds of ammunition, and 10 spent cartridges. Each exhibit underwent ballistic and forensic analysis at the lab, compared against any evidence recovered from the crime scene.
He has said no, he did not see any Seska pistol, but he had 7 cartridges.
As a result of the analysis, Ndiwa, the firearms examiner, revealed that the ballistic test could not conclusively determine which of the recovered guns fired the bullets that killed the 2 suspects.
Did you determine or identify from which firearm those bullets were fired? And you said no.
He concluded that there was no evidence linking any of the examined firearms to the crime, and the cartridges collected from the scene did not match the firearm issued to the accused person, Ahmed Rashid. According to the firearms register from Pangani police station, the weapon issued to Rashid on the day of the incident was not the one used in the shooting.
Does your conclusion conclusively identify Nyanjui or this gun to be the one that fired the bullets that you have been issued? No.
The heated cross-examination gripped the courtroom as Justice Diana Kavetha watched intently, her pen moving steadily across the notepad. Another witness, homicide investigating officer Ruben Maneki, took to the stand to explain the steps taken during the murder investigation and to respond to critical questions from the defense team. The murder trial continues with more witnesses expected to testify, even as the prosecution maintains that, despite inconsistencies from some witnesses, they still have a watertight case. The submission from the key witness, who is the firearm examiner, is not clear on the whereabouts of the weapon that was used in the killing, and maybe why the investigation team failed to get the very firearm as part of their probe. Franklin Wala, Citizen TV, from Kibera Locals, Nairobi.
All right, in that story by Franklin Wala, we'll take a short break from the news to speak to Moses Kuria, who is a former cabinet secretary and also former presidential advisor on economic affairs. And we had started to speak about the state of the graft war with the major pronouncements from the president, of course, talking about that multi-agency team that he has constituted or rather established, as well as the reactions from Parliament, that is the National Assembly and the Senate. But first, let me ask you this, because when you go back to the multi-agency team that, as you said, has institutions that are already mandated to fight corruption, how can EACC, an independent commission, the office of the DPP, which cannot take the direction from anyone when it comes to its work,
constitutional,
how can this multi-agency team achieve what these institutions have not?
First of all, I think that's what I would call a superfluous question, because somebody will go to court, for sure. Somebody will go to court and these multi-agencies will be stopped on that basis of contravening the constitutional principle that you cannot achieve by a multi-agency what you cannot achieve, as with a mandate given to you, not by the statutes, but by the Constitution. We saw the multi-agency on this issue of, the containers and counterfeit goods, and you know how that ended up. Multi-agency is equals to everybody's job, which becomes nobody's job. It's just another way of avoiding shirking responsibility by the individual bodies concerned. So I don't think we need to be led by this, because as sure as day follows night, I expect somebody to go to court and stop that multi-agency thing.
So what would lead a government to make such a position? What exactly?
I think, as I said, it is a holding of knee-jerk. coming from yesterday, that because of the uproar from members of parliament, blah, 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 let's do something that shows, because the whole thing of yesterday came out as generalization as opposed to systematic, fight against corruption. So I think today was saying, wait a minute, I think we made a mistake yesterday. Let's step back by showing that we have got a seemingly institutional process. But by doing that, they is now turned into the unconstitutional by trying, because of course, mostly because I don't think it was well thought through.
Okay.
Yeah.
When you listen to the president accusing members of parliament of extortion, you've been a member of parliament, you've been a cabinet secretary, you've been an advisor, so you've been on both ends of this. Is this something you've witnessed?
Well, there are always allegations.
Yeah.
And the line between what is not acceptable and lobbying, some people will hide on this side or the other. Yeah. So they have always been. You remember when in the 12th Parliament, we were given some money by the Uhuru Kenyatta regime to remove Eden Duale as a majority leader. And you remember, it's unanswered. I waived the money I was given there. So you cannot say it doesn't happen, and it is bound to happen.
Do you mind reminding us how much it was?
It was 100,000. We were given 100,000 per person to remove Eden Duale as a majority leader and put in place Amos Kemunya. And I went to the floor of the House and I said, this is the money I was given, 100,000 shillings to remove Eden Duale, and I offered to give it back, So...
And what did the Speaker do at the time?
Well, there was no follow-up from the office of the Speaker at that particular time. Remember, we were all swallowed by that nonsense that we were all Jubilee, so therefore we are all bound by that collective...
So tell me, who delivers that money to you?
There is always an office. That time it was the office of the majority leader. It is where you pass by.
But the office of the majority leader was Aden Duale. He gave money to be removed.
No, there was a secretary. The secretary of Duale. The secretary of Duale is the one who was, remember, you pass by and you see her, and then, she gives you your 100,000 and you go your way after the successful job. Never mind that some of us were not removing Duale but it was done in such an orthodox manner because all of us were in the Tanga movement. So it can happen. But my question is this, Sam. I think somehow I'm feeling grateful to the president by saying that members of parliament, they vote because of financial inducement. Maybe that explains how they in a record time, passed 4 bills for the universal health coverage, a darling of the president. Maybe, thank you, Mr. President, for letting us know. Maybe that's how they've passed the housing levy in a record time. We didn't know why. Now the president yesterday may have given us hints of how he achieved that.
Mr. Skura, you were in government at the time.
I'm just saying, maybe, because I'm just saying this, Sam. I'm just saying, Sam, I'm saying, by the way, I'm a supporter of most of those programs. And I'm not one hypocrite to come, today I'm saying this, tomorrow I'm saying the other. The point I'm making is, maybe I'm getting too complicated. Even if parliament is corrupt, how do they pass all these bills which we needed as government to carry out our agenda? If they are being bribed for example, anti-money laundering, a government bill, how do you now know that they were not bribed for the other things? So I think it's opening, the point I'm making is opening a very dangerous Pandora's box, where you can't now differentiate between what was passed in a legit way and what was passed by inducement. And this is, this is a sword. It can cut this way and it can cut that way.
That's what I'm asking, because the president spoke about committee's demand for money to give favorable reports. As a cabinet secretary, did you find yourself in such a situation at any given time?
I never give any committee money.
Was it demanded?
No, it was not demanded, because they can only demand if you have something to hide. Yeah, they can only demand if you have something to hide. And I was oversighted by up to 4 committees. Up to 4 committees were oversighting me at different times.
There was a matter of the edible oil importation, and there was investigation going on. How did you handle that?
If there was investigation, it never came to me. It never came to me. And by the way, the issue of edible oil, Sam, was purely a market issue. It was a market issue. Remember, we were importing to stabilize the edible oil when the dollar was at 160. Yeah? So we were victims of that currency issue. Yeah? They were victims, and this matter was looked at by very many committees, by very, very, very many committees. And I went there with my head high because we couldn't pay the price. We couldn't take the blame for the current situation that we had in the country. But on the converse...
But there are people who lost jobs, you know that?
Not on that particular issue. maybe on other issues.
Pamela Mutua, KNTC?
No, not on that particular issue.
What was the issue?
I think on another matter, not that particular issue.
It was?
I think it was some matter to do with rice or something. And way after I left that ministry. Way after I left that ministry.
So,
and by the way, the last time I was a minister in that ministry was 4th of October, 2023. It will be 2 years in some few months' time.
So there are reports that there used to be a special room at the Intercontinental Hotel where bribes would be collected. Any information about that?
Before the advent of phone cameras or after?
Tell me about what you know about that room.
No, that's what I'm saying. If there was indeed such a room, then it could have been captured on camera. It could have been captured on camera. And by the way, let me turn this conversation, Sam. In normal situation, Parliament is supposed to vote on the issue of parliamentary leadership. But they don't. At least comes from State House and from the other powers. And what happens in Parliament is just, a ritual. So as a matter of fact, the issue of who appointed Moses Wetangula, members of William Ruto. It's William Ruto. Who appointed Kimani Ichung'wah? It's William Ruto. Who appointed Amason Jeffa Kingi? It's William Ruto. Who appointed, Aaron Cheriot? It's William Ruto, and Parliament just rubber-stamped. Who appointed Junet Mohammed as the leader of the minority? It's Raila Odinga. Who appointed Stuart Mazayo as a minority in the Senate? It's Raila Odinga. So I think here we have got some chefs who are complaining about the taste of their own soup.
Which is okay, and
the chairman of the committees, the leadership, it also comes as a list.
It's interesting that you know so much about the current parliament, but the parliaments you served, you have no details. You were there for, was this 7 or 8 years?
For 10 years, yes. For 9 years.
9 years?
Yes.
And you never heard of people
of course, there were
going to collect some money anywhere?
And I've told you
apart from impeaching, removing...
How close do you want me to tell you?
Yeah.
I've told you the situation whereby it is on record. It's on record. How close? Now what else?
What I'm asking is,
do you want to hear from?
Look, Moses Kuria, we're here to benefit from your insights. Members of Parliament are saying, let the president name those that he's saying have been corrupt, those that have been collecting bribes. While you served in Parliament, and you're saying that, yes, you were given money to remove Aden Duale, was there a habit of such treating from the executive to pass either motions, bills, or whatever business that was?
Maybe not in sense, not for me, as far as I'm concerned. We had this issue called pork barrels, whereby members of committee would influence some projects to be done within their constituencies, unfair to the other constituencies. And this issue, because I was in the budget committee, and mostly this was a budget issue. And throughout my 2 terms in Parliament, I was a member of the budget committee. And so that's really inducement, but through in a way that benefits the people really. As in terms of actual cash, I just came to, of course, I've told you the case of Duale, and there's another case of Wamushomba, and I hope that you have also interrogated her because she is the one who came up with that famous clause of, famous saying that some people are being bribed in the toilet.
So you never heard of welfare chairpersons?
No, we didn't have welfare chairpersons. I think that is innovation that has come with Gen Z or something, or the Parliament becoming younger. Yeah. So
and now, because you've heard from the president, you've heard from the members of Parliament, the president alleges that bribes are being demanded, they're being received but not landing in Parliament. Who is that giving resources from the executive? You've been there.
Well, I think your guess is as good as mine. Your guess is as good as mine, Sam. But I think that behoves the question, for there to be a taker of bribes, or the one demanding bribes, there must be somebody else who is giving bribes. And for what reason? And I want to echo what MP for Likoni, Mishi Mboko, said in Parliament today. That, for example, if you take that bill on anti-money laundering, what is in that bill that would make someone part with 10 million shillings? What is in that bill? What is it that you don't know? Who is that with vested interest? To hijack a government bill that was tabled by the leader of the majority. And, may I say recklessly spend 10 million on an otherwise government bill which looked innocuous, that it has got no private interest in it. What is it? So I think there are deeper questions here. There are deeper questions, and I hope that...
So this is not information that you ever came across while you served?
No, not really. Not really.
And it was never complained about in your circles?
No, of course, people were talking in... There were always talks in the corridors, but we've not seen it in this kind of magnitude or extent that we have seen over the last few weeks.
Interesting, because also the ACC obviously is speaking about it and saying that they're already investigating and they'll be finalizing on some files and take action about it. So if you were still advising the president, and we know what we know now, what would that advice look like?
To just remain institutional and believe in the processes, institutionalize the processes, because we cannot go back to knee-jerk reactions. We cannot go back to what I would call instant coffee approach towards fighting corruption. It has been done before. Kibaki did it, sent some people home. Uhuru did it. Moi at one time, brought in those technocrats when there was a lot of corruption. So it is what I would call motion without movement. What we need to do is to strengthen our institutions and believe in the processes. Yeah, we are not short of constitutional mandate for our bodies to be able to carry out this whatever.
All right, this conversation will continue in regards to what else is happening in the political circles. Of course, we have heard from different leaders speaking, the president recommitting, as well as the former Prime Minister Raila Odinga saying that moving forward, there will be an implementation team led by former Senator Dr. Agnes Zani that will look into the implementation of the MOU between UDA and ODM. We'll have that conversation later on in the politics of the country. But first, leadership changes have swept through the Kenyatta National Hospital management amid recommendations by the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission to charge 11 suspects from the Ministry of Health and KNH officials over the alleged 443 million shilling oxygen plant construction tender. The alleged offences involved the public servants, involving the public servants and directors of Biomax Africa Limited include abuse of office and willful failure to comply with procurement laws, among others. Seth Olale reports.
An early morning change of guard ceremony at Kenyatta National Hospital saw Dr. Richard Lesiyampe officially take over as Chief Executive Officer, succeeding Dr. Evanson Kamuri, who served for 6 years. But beneath the changeover lies an active investigation into alleged procurement irregularities worth 443 million shillings. An inquiry by the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission established that the alleged irregular tender implicates 11 influential suspects from the Ministry of Health and KNH officials for botched supply, delivery, installation testing, training, and commissioning of a medical oxygen generating plant at Kenyatta National Hospital, awarded to Biomax Africa Limited at 443 million shillings. Seth Olale, Citizen TV.
At the same time, public service unions within the healthcare sector are accusing the private insurance companies of allegedly jeopardizing quality service delivery in the country. Led by KMPDU Secretary General Dr. Davji Atela, the unions allege that a number of insurance companies are exploiting Kenyans while prioritizing profit over patients.
The biggest impediment to universal healthcare in this country are private insurance companies that have decided to get themselves into cocoon and dictate to the patients which hospitals to visit. They dictate to patients which doctors to see. They dictate to patients which lab tests to have. And they dictate to patients which drugs to be issued. And this was well demonstrated in what they did in Nairobi Hospital, where for the first time, we have seen insurance companies telling patients, don't go to this hospital.
The UHC health workers have been on strike. They have also been holding demonstrations on a weekly basis. And it's through those demonstrations that the parliament was able to allocate 6.2 billion for the absorption. Absorption which was supposed to happen from the 1st of July 2025. And today, we are here concerned that there seems to be deliberate delay.
Now we're taking a short break here on Citizen Explainer, and Moses Kuria will be speaking to him. He's the former Cabinet Secretary for Public Service and previously the Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment. We'll come back with that conversation after the break. Stay tuned. Welcome back. You're still watching the Citizen Explainer, and you're with the former Cabinet Secretary Moses Kuria talking about matters corruption and, of course, the politics of the country. We have a former member of parliament who's telling us that actually it's not true that money changed hands to remove the then majority leader Aden Duale. But so I don't know what you have to say about that. But if that is the case, that money changes hands to remove someone from office, we've hosted different leaders here. From Senate, they said that up to 10 million shillings was paid to remove Rigathi Gachagua. At the National Assembly, some say 100,000 shillings to collect a signature. Was money used to remove Rigathi Gachagua from office?
You know, also, corruption is not a spectator game. So maybe I will not be privy to such bribery because, first of all, that was not part of my remit. But again, this whole discourse of generalization will lead to such kind of innuendo and speculation. Because, you know, if you cannot say for sure that it is corruption for this one, not the other one, so where is the line? That's why I am asking for scientific processes.
Sorry, Honorable Moses, were you aware when Rigathi Gachagua was being impeached?
Yes, I was aware. I mean, what do you mean?
Did you hear that signatures are being collected?
Of course, the signatures. Of course, you need signatures to impeach someone.
You were in government then?
Yes, I was in government. Yes,
you didn't hear anything about money changing hands?
I was an advisor. I was an advisor. Of course, I had things in the public domain. I had things in public domain.
That?
Yeah, that people are saying we are being given money. And you have got cases. I don't even know why you would try conjecture for something that is...
I'm asking you.
Have you asked John Meadow? The people, let's say, because this is not a spectator game, you need to ask those people who claim they were induced by money. And I can give you examples. John Meadow, Senator Fonyandarwa, Karungu Wadhangwa.
They were given money?
So they say publicly, I'm not a media person. Yeah, you are the media person. They say publicly. So they say, we have got some self-confessed people, and you are digging from someone of guesswork.
I'm asking you because you sat in the executive.
Do you imagine that there's a meeting? First of all, that time I was an advisor, but it's okay, I was in the executive. Can you imagine there's a meeting? Excuse me, guys, agenda number 1, bribing of MPs. How many have you bribed today? Key performance indicator. Of course, you don't expect that there's something like that.
Sure, you know,
yeah? So how do you imagine it is done? I don't know. Am I naive? How do you imagine it is done? A whole meeting is done, and then people say, excuse me, how much are we going to bribe somebody to go?
You know, I don't know how it's done. I've not sat in parliament.
So let's say, even in the wildest of imagination, you don't imagine that if this thing was to happen, or if it happened, that it would happen in some broad something.
Yes.
You know? Yeah. It reminds me of that former minister called Chris Murungaru, who told one guy called Golsungu that assassinations don't happen like that, to an extent that even the rights of Golsungu would be privy to. So I would say the same, that if corruption is done to impeach people, it is not done in such a brazen way whereby a mere mortal like an advisor would be privy to.
Okay. Sorry. I see what you're trying to say, but let's talk about, because around June 2025, you gave an interview and said that one of the things I remember is that you would be the 6th president of the Republic.
Yes, I still hold that dream.
A month later, you're out of work.
Yes.
Did you resign or are you fired?
I resigned.
Why?
I resigned one day after Sabasaba, Sam. And I resigned because Sabasaba shattered me. Shattered me, totally. I was actually outside the country and I was on a flight coming. And I was even on the flight, because we had internet on the flight. I was coordinating on WhatsApp.
Yeah.
I would get information from some wonderful people in Roiro, Dik, and all these places, and then I would coordinate with security agencies. And then, you know, that day I remember, I think some places like Roiro, like Dika, like Kiserian, Some places I really used my access in government that time to stop it. Then, ahead of all that mayhem, you know, I am known to a lot of business people, the people who sell supermarkets were burnt and all that kind of thing. So I really talked to them and I really felt them. And by the way, you know, you look at these things as, for example, Maguna supermarket. Are you aware that the things which are inside there are not necessarily Magunas? There's somebody who has taken a stock on what we call consignment to be sold. Right. So the impact was so huge. So the following day, I asked some people, people in both sides. I talked to people in the opposition. I asked them, what is this? It is said that it is you people who are organizing the mayhem. Why organize violence against our own people? They told me it is not me, it is government. And then I talked to people in government, in all the levels, including the president himself. I told them, Mr. President, the opposition people are claiming that it is government people who are doing all this destruction. And the president almost took the Bible. Then I asked myself, where am I? Is it government which is right, or is it opposition which is right? And I found myself in that unfortunate situation. I don't know who to believe. Yeah? I don't know. You know, I said, okay, let me just sit on that pedestal whereby I can be able to see things much more clearly, because in any case, that Magunas, that county supermarket in Muranga, does it matter whether it is Wamonyoro people or government people who are burning the supermarket? It wouldn't matter less for those people. Okay. So I said, look, there comes a time when some of us, you know, have to start somewhere where really you can be able to answer every question that your conscience asks you.
Let's take a look at a post you released on X on the 7th of July. This was on the day of Sabasaba. You wrote that no Gen Z died today, only criminal looters. Well done, Kip Murkomen, ensure zero Gen Z and maximum criminal fatalities.
You see...
That's the same day you met the president.
You see, no, the following day. You see the information was flowing fast and furious. Yeah. Information was flying fast and furious. And some of the cases, you can imagine people storming a police station. Can those be Gen Zs? Whatever happened in Kikuyu and Dagoretti and all that.
So you call for total fatalities of...
What I believe is that kind of organized something, it is easy to look at it from the fatalities point of view. But it is also important that you look at it from the point of view of the business owners. Yeah? And is it wrong to separate criminals from peaceful protesters? But is there something logically wrong?
You are an advisor.
Yeah? Is there something logically wrong from saying this one is a criminal and this one is a by the way, I start with that. If you can be able to even have a detector, a metal detector, that this is a genuine protester whose rights are enshrined and protected under the Constitution, fine. But people who go to maim, people who go to destroy property, do you know how much do you know the pain of those people and their business? Do you know, forget about their businesses. Look at it from the jobs. Aren't the human rights of those people who lost jobs in Moya, the people who lost jobs in Nyeri? And for me, it does not matter. It doesn't matter whether it is a government or it is opposition. It really doesn't matter.
So when on the day you made that decision, you said it's the 8th of July. How was that meeting with the president?
Well, on the 8th of July, I went and told the president, it is hazy right now, and I feel like I need to have my head out there to be able to look at things more clearly, and really be neutral in this conversation so that truth can be able to come out. Because when you have got
allegations... And he agreed with you?
Well, can someone make you work by force?
Because there are claims that you actually fired.
But I said, why are there claims where I have said something in writing? Do you have my firing letter?
I'm asking, I mean...
No, you should have a kidogo intelligent conversation, because where I have said in writing that I have resigned, I put even online my resignation letter.
Which you sent to the Chief of Staff.
Yeah, Chief of Staff.
Yes.
You now come and claim I was fired. Me, I have got two things. I have got my social media message to say I have resigned, and I have got my actual resignation. You want to come here and ask me a question and you want me to respond, and you have nothing.
No, I'm asking you.
No, but why? When I have got hard evidence, you cannot ask me unless you say there is this document, there is this letter, there is this firing letter. I think that is
because
no, that is abuse of studio time.
In this country,
that's abuse of studio.
In this country, Honorable Moses Kuria, there are people who've been asked to resign.
Okay, simple answer then, so that we don't debate on that.
Yeah.
I was not fired, and I was not asked to resign.
Okay.
And the president actually regretted the fact that I resigned. He really regretted.
How so? There's no document to show that?
No, I'm saying from my conversation with him, he regretted the fact that, I mean, it was unfortunate, as in his words. You know, he told me it is your decision, but it's unfortunate.
So where are you now?
I'm a private citizen.
Politically?
Well, politically, you know, I'm a political animal. We are getting to 23 months before the next general elections.
Yeah.
So obviously, every politician in the field is going to be active for the next 23 months, and I'm no exception.
I'm asking that question because, Moses, you sacrificed your political party, Chama cha Kazi.
No, I did not sacrifice.
What did you do?
No, I did not sacrifice. We are just a member of the Kenya Kwanza coalition.
So that decision that was taken, I think it was late 2022 or early 2023, what was it?
No, we were having that suggestion and members refused.
Suggestion to?
To fold the party. Remember that time there was all this hurabaro about folding parties. Musalia folded his party. Myself and Wetangula and some people were saying, no, we're not going to fold our parties. And it was a democratic decision.
So Chama cha Kazi is still operational?
It's still there, it's operational.
I'm asking that because if you look at the other political parties, so let's start with Ford Kenya, that was in a coalition with UDA. They still have their leader as the speaker.
Yes.
The party led by Amason Kingi,
yes.
They still have Amason Kingi as the speaker.
Yes.
The party led by former speaker Justin Muturi,
yes.
Democratic Party. Muturi is out, but Honorable Ruku is there as a representative of DP. If you look at ANC, yes, merged, but Musalia Mudavadi is still the Prime Cabinet Secretary.
Yes.
There's nobody from Chama cha Kazi.
Absolutely.
In cabinet.
Yes, there's no one in cabinet.
Why?
That's true.
How did that happen?
Well, it is up to the appointing authority. Now, how can you ask me now?
No, because you had an agreement with the party leader of UDA.
Yeah, well, but Kenya is like that. Some agreements are honored, some are not honored. I cannot claim to be having a postal address in heaven. I live on this earth, and betrayals do happen.
Betrayals?
Yes.
So why were you removed as a cabinet secretary? Was any explanation ever given?
No, never. Never.
Did you ever speak to the president about that?
How can I? Why would I be entitled to ask? Did I speak to him when he appointed me? Did I tell him, you know, so...
Because your party entered into a coalition with the president.
Well, let me put it this way, Sam Gituku.
Yeah.
The much I want to say about this issue. Nobody, since Julius Gikonyo Kiano, Nicholas Biwott, and Mukisa Kitui, has ever made a stab at industry in this country as Moses Kuria when he was Minister for Trade. That's a fact. That will go down on record. Yeah? Nobody tried to reform, for example, NYS and all that, like the way I tried to reform and that kind of thing. For the 20 months that I was in cabinet, I'm very proud. I look back with a lot of pride and I walked with my head high.
Yes.
And I sleep sound. I sleep very sound. I sleep very sound. But I'm also a firm believer that I don't have to be in government for me to be able to make positive change in society. I am making positive change in my own humble way, even outside government. You know, the topics that mean something to me, how we can be able to modernize.
And I saw your statement, what I would call a self-appraise of the work that you had done in government for 30 months. And every phrase you say, I did my best.
Absolutely.
But the appointing authority didn't see that.
Well, it's unfair to ask me that. And the appointing authority also grants regular interviews to media. May I respectfully suggest that you ask that question to him?
That's fine. When you were removed, members that campaigned against your appointing authority joined government. This is ODM. Today there's a pact, ODM and UDA. What do you think about that?
I think I made my comment yesterday in public. You saw that tweet that I put in there. Talking about the Dr. Agnes Zani's committee, I am vehemently opposed. I'm vehemently opposed because maybe the other points, which could be a gentleman's agreement between Raila Odinga and William Ruto, okay, I'm okay with the 9 points, except the NADCO one. Because NADCO, first of all, if it's personal, it should have been PADCO,
What is that?
Yeah, personal, dialogue committee.
But
now it's NADCO, meaning it is national. Yes. It's not personal. It's not between Raila Odinga and William Ruto. So I would have expected, broad-based in the true sense of the word, whereby the whole society, because we may end up in a referendum out of the issues in that NADCO thing. And by the way, if there's one thing I would want to see go to the referendum, even though the threshold of going for referendum is not met, it is the issue of CDF, NG-CDF. Why? Because I am very certain, from where I see it as a former member of parliament, that we are asking the wrong people. It is not between Raila Odinga and members of parliament. It should be about the people. Go and ask the people. I would want this issue to go to referendum. And you know what? By 99%, people, Kenyans will say they want NG-CDF to stay.
Right.
Why? Because NG-CDF is the only fund devolved. Don't get lost with Baba's definition of devolved. It is splitting hairs. It's neither here nor there. Because it is the only devolved pool of money that has got no operational cost. That has got no OPEX, It has got no operational expenses. It does not buy vehicles. It does not hire people. So every shilling goes directly to the people. It is all CAPEX plus bursaries. All CAPEX, whether you are building classrooms, police posts and all that, plus the only non-CAPEX thing there is bursaries for our unprivileged population. So the people, I know the people of Gatundu South, who has served for 10 years as member of parliament, would vote to keep the NG-CDF.
Yet the courts have consistently said that the constituency is not a service delivery unit.
Precisely why I'm saying that. Let's take it to the people.
No.
The people are more supreme than the Supreme Court.
Which is fine.
The people are more supreme than the Supreme Court.
If the judiciary is to read the Constitution
as it is, Sam, as it is, Supreme Court is right. And that's why I'm saying, because I know where the pulse of the nation is on this particular issue. I know where the people are on this particular issue. I would prefer a situation whereby that issue is taken to the referendum. Hence, why I'm saying that NADCO cannot be a personal dialogue or something. It has to be national. It has to be broad-based, and we have to involve all the parties. And it is a mistake I saw my good friend and brother and boss Uhuru Kenyatta make in his second term. Whereby you believe that as long as we have got, I think people are using, there are two people who are misusing my good friend Baba. My very good friend Baba is being misused by two people. The first category of people, they view him as, I don't know if you remember that medicine called Mwams or Muarubaini. One that can cure all diseases, As long as you have Baba, you think, you can cut corners, you can do this. No. Society has changed. That reality is about to crumble.
Does that person include President William Ruto?
I'm just saying many people they like to use Baba, even people who want seats, even people from his backyard who says, as long as Baba is there, we are going to have an easy ride to parliament.
Does that include President
That's number one.
Ruto?
Number two.
Does that include President William Ruto?
Give me the whole list, then I can pick who.
No.
Don't take me that. Don't take me that direction.
The reason I'm asking that, because we are talking about ODM-UDA pact.
Yes, and I'm just saying. I am warning UDA that I'm not a member of UDA, so it is within my province to warn UDA, to caution, not to warn, to caution UDA. Let me be soft. To caution UDA that Baba is not Mwams and Baba is not Muarubaini. Baba cannot cure all diseases in the southern hemisphere. No, that's number one. Number two, some other people called governors. Please stop using Baba as an influencer. I know we are building the creative economy, but there are some people even from his views of saying, please don't, at the Senate, don't summon governors. Tangurini, something that is so clear in the Constitution. And I suspect governors are using Baba as an influencer. Baba is our statesman, he's not your influencer.
For what?
For all those policy changes, like our digital influencer, for example, or a poster boy or something like that. No, Baba is our statesman. Stop using Baba as your influencer. Leave influencers to other people who are in that creative.
So now that you're cautioning UDA, when did you learn about this caution?
No, my friend. I've been very consistent on these things. You go back to everything I posted. And I've talked about even why I'm supporting having a referendum as a seventh ballot. yeah, is because we tried with handshake. Yeah, we try all these fragile things. We started with Moi cooperation. We came with Nani, Kibaki. What were you calling it? The grand coalition, Nusumkeka, Nusumkate, Nusu whatever. Yeah, we came to Uhuru Kenyatta, handshake. We came now to William Ruto, broad-based. Now you want Moses Kuria another something, you know. So we can't keep on like this. And each of all those things, from cooperation to grand coalition, from the cooperation to grand coalition, to handshake, to broad-based, invariably, as sure as day follows night, lives are lost. So do you want to wait for another wave now? Or do you want to seize this opportunity to say...
Moses, why are you saying this now? You advised the president for...
I have been saying this.
Months.
On economic matters, my friend. I don't know why you are taking me through that tunnel vision. I have been saying... My personal views, you are taking me through a tunnel vision because my personal views, even when I was in government, I've been talking about let us stop this culture of artificial solutions and go for a comprehensive, radical solution that works. That's why, to some extent, I regret that BBI was politicized. I regret that BBI, we didn't have a commonality or vision as a country. We didn't have a national consensus on BBI the same way we had on the 2010 Constitution. If we had the same level of national consensus around BBI, maybe some of these, maybe by that time around BBI, maybe this broad-based would not have happened. Because this is just another artificial something to merge something together. And I'm saying, I'm hearing some people talk about 1 term, 2 term. Yeah? Can we have the long-term movement? Long-term movement. Long-term movement. Yeah? So people who are saying, I don't care, even that 1 term will come to an end. Even the 2 terms will come to an end. Can we just stand with Kenya long-term? Whereby we can be able to predict, with some certainty, what is going to happen within our lifetime. And what is going to happen even when we are not on this earth.
So earlier this morning, you said in a post on X, among many other things, you said that sadly what I saw yesterday was an otherwise promising national moment being reduced to a dowry paid by UDA to ODM. Not even other constituent parties in both Azimio and Kenya Kwanza were consulted. We are treading on a trodden path littered with corpses like BBI. The last chapter of NADCO will be a replica of BBI.
So that's what happens.
Dowry payment, what is that?
No, that's what happens. And I'm going to say anything, even what you think I'm not saying. That's what happens when there's no national consensus. There was nothing inherently wrong with BBI. BBI has had some wonderful things. What was wrong with BBI was lack of national consensus. And what I'm saying here, it is that, one, if NADCO does not have a broad-based consensus as a country, by people who like you, and people who don't like you. Yeah? People who like you and who don't like you, we must all agree on something. This is not about ODM and UDA. That's what the point I'm saying. And I'm saying UDA cannot use NADCO process to create some sort of an electoral machine for 2027. Because Uhuru Kenyatta tried it with the BBI, tried to make an electoral machine for 2022. It backfired. This one will backfire also.
At the same time, like you're saying, there's 1 term and 2 term. On this other end, like we see, Kipchumba Murkomen is preparing to receive Rigathi Gachagua by talking to the security agencies to be ready just in case of chaos. And if that happens, there will be an arrest. What do you see with the politics after impeachment of Rigathi Gachagua, where we are?
Well, let me give some historical perspective. Because I've been in this studio with you, with Yvonne, with so many people talking about Rigathi Gachagua when we were serving in government. And I pointed out the mistakes of Rigathi Gachagua, which I would still tell him today. I don't have a problem with Rigathi Gachagua. I just have 3 major points of departure with Rigathi Gachagua. Yeah? Of course, one of them is, at this age and time, we cannot live the politics as we used to live in the 90s. It is time, everything has got a shelf life. And everything is finite, including tribalism, road tribalism and all that. I believe from the bottom of my heart, and that's my view, that even me, maybe there's a time I could have been accused of tribalism and all that. Granted, but every angel has a past and every sinner has a future. So there comes a time when you see this one cannot continue selling. Yeah, there comes a time when you stop that one and you say, no, this one is not tenable anymore. And for me, politics that revolves around tribe has got no space in this country. Of course, I've got other problems with him, like, he's trying now to come up with this dictatorship within my region where you say, if you're not with the DCP, you are Kasongo, you are whatever. So, like somebody appointed him a prefect, yeah? But other than that, I believe that Rigathi Gachagua has every right, yeah, to practice his politics in the best way you know how, as long as he is not contravening the law. And I think it behoves upon Kipchumba Murkomen. I have heard him say that they have got information to believe that Rigathi Gachagua wants to commit some crimes, or some people want to commit some crimes around it. I think it is a thin line between political rights of Mr. Rigathi Gachagua, which I would defend to my death, but also that because this country does not belong to only politicians, we need to carry out our politics in such a way whereby, and some of the, they say violence begets violence, and equally hate begets hate. Because when with that kind of rigiji politics, unfortunate politics on that front, you see now it is becoming the national currency. You heard what Aden Duale, and I called him out. You heard what Aden Duale said in Barambara over the weekend, that, some community, they think they are special. We are going back to 2007. We are treading on very dangerous line, and whereby leaders don't know. We did not just arrive here. We came from somewhere. There's a process. Yeah, we don't just come here. We don't find ourselves here. We have come from somewhere. When you mention 207 like it's just something like that, it means so many other things. Maybe to add, and I did talk to him. I engaged him because he's my good friend. Yeah. I engaged him on one-to-one. I told him, look, one, you are not just a normal person. You are a very elevated cabinet minister. Who, when people see you, they see this government. You are a privileged person. And two, the whole thing of, 207, because it reminds, for you, maybe he was saying, oh, Musalia was together with Raila and Ruto and Duale in 207. Maybe that's what he means, the political formation, as he also explained to me. But, people who are, killed in burnt forest, do you think they will see it that way? Do you think they will see it as just a political formation? So these things, even from a subliminal, state of the mind, it means it invokes many memories to so many things. And by the way, let me tell you something. I've been talking to people. I've been doing also research. When you see me in the country quiet, I talk to people. Sisemi kusikiza ground, but I talk to people a lot. And that kind of posturing by the rights of Duale, Kamket, Mandago, my good friend Dan Wanyama, I saw Osoro, say the same thing. That's what? So that thing of collective condemnation of one community, as if Rigathi Gachagua is all the 10 million people. Do you know, and I said it on Twitter, on X the other day, do you know what will be the unintended consequence after I talk to people? This is what my people are telling me. My people are telling me in 2027, in 2022, they voted for William Ruto close to 4 million votes, Mount Kenya region. They voted for Raila Odinga 1.2 million votes. There is, by the projections done, that vote would have grown to 6 million votes in 2027. They are telling me, and I'm talking about ordinary people. Yeah? The other day we went around Muranga villages with Governor Kangata, talking to people, because I said I want someone to be as a witness. So we went around Muranga with Kangata, listening to people. They are telling me in 2027, these 6 million votes, they'll put in one basket. They'll give one person. One person, I don't know who it is, but they'll give one person because of these kind of statements from Duale. And they say, what will they ask for that 6 million votes? They are telling me we don't want to be president. We don't want to be deputy president. Neither do we want to be prime cabinet secretary.
What do they want?
They just want a country that works. They will give their vote for nothing. For nothing. They will not ask for anything.
What's your sample size?
Yeah? No, it's quite expansive. I am a statistician, my friend.
What's your sample size?
I'm a socio-scientist and I'm a statistician.
What's your
If you want
size?
me to complete the scientific study, I can. And you can even commission one here for you as Citizen.
What's your sample size?
Citizen TV. Yeah? My friend, I am a politician. I have been allowed politics.
No doubt, you're a politician.
I have been in presidential campaign since Matiba, Marlborough House in 1992. 1997 with Kibaki. 02 with Kibaki, 07 with Kibaki, 13 with Uhuru Kenyatta, 17 with Uhuru Kenyatta, 22 with William Ruto. I am not one to see mirages. I'm not one to have broad political vision.
Do you have a sample size?
Yeah?
Do you have a sample size?
No, it's expansive, and I'm telling you there's a team that is working on...
That's not statistics.
Well, I am not... do you know, I can give you the number of Ajara Abido if you want to convert me to an opinion poll company. I am a politician who has got my pulse on the...
research.
No, yes, but you can't ask me about sample size for my... I did not say that I went there and I say margin of error. I said those ones. Those ones, I'm not your pollster. No, you can go and ask Abido or Tifa to do for you a proper research.
I am speaking
to prove me to prove me right or to disapprove me.
So let me
what I'm telling you, as someone who understands my region, and I speak to them in a language which clearly they cannot mistake. They are telling me, in their basic language, which, if it's not
that's
English...
a symbol of DCP party.
Yeah? No, so we now cut our ears because of DCP. No, let's not be petty.
The point I'm making here is you cannot purport to be speaking on behalf of 6 million...
I'm not speaking on their behalf. I'm saying, okay, let me phrase it this way. I don't know whether you went to language school. For the people I have talked to, from my region, across several counties, they are telling me for how much they are feeling they are under siege from the likes of Duale, Kamkati, and all these people. In 2027, they will put all their 6 million votes, give to one person, tell someone that we have given you a gift of 6 million votes, either ujitafutie hizo zingine, na usitupatie kitu. Don't give us a presidency.
And the people you're talking about, these are people you worked with up until July 8th.
No, I'm talking about the people on the ground.
No, yes, I heard that.
Yeah?
I'm talking about the people you're speaking against their sentiments.
So what?
You worked with them until July 8th.
So what?
Did you ever belong?
So what? So what? I have always called out what is wrong. I have always called out my cabinet colleagues. I have always spoken out. Sam, you cannot corner me on that one.
I'm not cornering you. That's not the business of this interview.
I've always spoken my mind, especially on issues which I consider to be of existential threat for the peace and stability of this nation, like whatever came from Aden Duale.
Was there a team?
Sorry?
Was there a team that you worked in when you were served in government? Because when you appear so, your views are so contrast totally different from what others are doing. What happened?
No.
Where did you shift?
We differ on specific issues.
Yeah.
Can I come here and scream? I have been in this studio talking about Shah, and Shah is still a good thing. I support Aden Duale on Shah. It's a wonderful thing. I believe in the affordable housing project. It's a wonderful thing. So we agree on specific issues, and it's a healthy part of our democracy for us to disagree on things which are, for me, I feel strongly about. Yeah.
And the people you're speaking about that will put their votes in one basket, what do they say about Shah?
Well, first of all, give credit where it is due. Despite the many challenges, and I'm very proud of the work that I did in government around Shah, when it was very problematic. My friend, I was here with the JF when it was very, very problematic. And I said we are going to bend the curve, So I'm very proud that now Shah is fairly stable. I just get feedback people have been paid for. Because this Shah will not go home with William Ruto, 1 term or 2 term or whatever. Obama did not go home with Obamacare. It is part of what you safeguard for the future of the country. And I think for me, I have got the minimum threshold of honesty for me to be able to say what works, and what doesn't work. Yeah? So it's not about, are you agreeing with that team? No. How can you agree on everything? There are things we agreed on. There are things we work together. There are things I was part of. But there are things that I cannot stand, whether I am in government or out of government.
Okay.
Maybe now I am more free to be able to take on people like Duale and all that kind of thing. Maybe now I'm more free. And that's why I thank God for this opportunity to be able to have better clarity and to be able to speak my mind without encumbrances. No, what I'm saying is, working in government was also limiting in some way. Yeah, because some things you cannot be able to point out. I'm just saying I'm enjoying my freedom. Freedom is sweet.
And when you say them?
So?
When you point out things that you don't agree with, what would happen? No, then when you served.
Well, it was a constrained environment. I'm not sure the last time you talked something very negative about Royal Media Service. Maybe I didn't see that. I didn't.
When you reflect on your service, do you have any regrets?
Well, I regret that I didn't complete my program to industrialize this country. Since independence, 32 out of 47 counties have never seen an industry of one form or the other. Because, you know, our thinking was driven by the sessional paper number 10 of 1965, that you can pick some few areas of Kenya and develop them because they are more productive, or there is better ROI, return on investment.
Yeah.
And I came to reverse that old thinking. And that's why I went all over the country, starting the industrial parks. Sadly, after I left, you know, the dream was not taken. I understand now there's been renewed focus on those kind of things. But the fact that I didn't get enough opportunity to implement my thoughts about industrializing this country, providing quality jobs, sustainable jobs, real empowerment for our young people. Real empowerment. Real empowerment is not this charade of beans and that kind of thing that is going on. Real empowerment is giving those people jobs.
So the current one is about...
it's a charade. I went to three of them, honestly speaking.
No, there was one at State House, you saw it.
I'm just saying, personally, I went to three of them out of curiosity.
Yeah.
I went for one in Duberi, in Kiambu. I went for one in Muranga, a place called Kigumu. And I went for one, I can't remember, in Kabete. And I said, I will never go for those things again. Because, you know, now, maybe we could have done those things when we were looking for government. Now we have government. And we say, you know, we have got opportunity now to craft real solutions that will provide long-term, sustainable, quality jobs for our young people.
You know, that's interesting because just the other day, the president was at State House hosting thousands of young people, giving out plastic chairs, tents, water tanks, car washing machines. And he said this is part of the manifesto to empower the young people to find opportunities.
That version of empowerment is not the one I share. And I'm not saying it's wrong. This is not a multiple choice question.
And you are the advisor on economics.
Yes, and you know what I was doing on economics, my friend. You know what I was doing on economics.
This was not
it was
part
clear.
of that.
No, that was not part of that. It is not part of my version of that economics. My economics is based on investment, on trade, on industrialization, on creating real jobs, yeah, on looking at the service sectors and areas like business process outsourcing, in using the power of AI to uplift our young people and all that kind of thing. I have got very distinct version of my own, the way I see empowerment. It's not that one. So does it mean that it's wrong?
No. Whose advice was that, if it wasn't from you?
Well, as I said, that the president grants interviews freely. The next time you are there, please do let me know.
Talk to me about, now that you're out of government, you're saying that you're free. Anything you're doing economically?
No, I mean, I'm focusing on the topics that mean something to me, especially on AI. AI is, I'm a big enthusiast of AI. And also, I plan to start doing talking, global talking.
Global talking?
Yeah.
About what?
About topical global issues.
Like what?
You know, like the financial reform of the world institution, like how to industrialize the global south, like green investment, like all that kind of thing, like, you know, African trade integration, you know. Those are topics that, you know, still I have got a passion for. And I want to gallivant the world speaking about them. So the next time you see me speaking from some other capital somewhere, it is in line with that line of saying that because I was exposed to the global space when I was you know, in trade, I want to further that.
And politically, any intentions?
Of course, I've done my part in the executive. So 2027, I'm going for elective politics.
Elective politics. Yes. What's it?
It's still too early to tell. This country, by the way, so many things will change.
Which political party?
Of course, I have my political party.
Chama cha Kazi?
Yes.
You once spoke about that the Mount Kenya region should be united under Uhuru Kenyatta and the Jubilee.
No, Uhuru Kenyatta has a role to play in our region. He has a role to play. You know, yesterday I had my good friend Kimani Ichung'wah call Sabina Chege the leader of Jubilee. No, he's not. She's not. I mean, Uhuru Kenyatta is still the leader of Jubilee. And I believe that it is our right, it's our inherent right as a region to be able to do a confederacy, yeah, a confederation, yeah, the parties from that region, for us to have even some consensus around the issue that mean a lot to our people. It's the same thing I see. Even Musalia was in ANC, now UDA, and Wetangula. They always talk about their issues, even if they are from. So actually, the Luhya nation is the best example of that confederacy that I'm talking about. So for a very liberal people like Mount Kenya people, to imagine that people can be able to fit into one, no, it is unfathomable, and so therefore, Uhuru Kenyatta and his Jubilee people have space. Moses Kuria and Chama cha Kazi, we have space. Rigathi Gachagua and DCP, they have space.
So are you looking for a national seat or local level?
I'm saying it is too early to tell something to go. It's
Will
too early to
you
tell.
support President William Ruto in 2026?
It is too early to tell. Do you know whether he wants?
What?
Has he told you he's going to be a candidate?
He's talking about it.
Yeah, really? Has he asked for...
He has been admitting
so let him,
when the slogan is...
Let him...
You haven't heard that?
Let him become a candidate. Let's not talk about... let's not buy diapers for a child who is not born, Let him become a candidate, then we have that one. All I know is that there's going to be... what about if I'm the candidate? Would you still ask me whether I am going to support William?
I asked you, you said you're too early to decide what...
Exactly. So ask me. Let's keep talking, man. I'll come for your vote, one way or the other. Yeah.
Good luck with that.
Thank you.
So I have to thank you for making time for us. There was another just one part that I want us to talk about. While you served in office, and you were not always the kindest of persons to interact with.
Really?
Yes.
Where have you been living, my friend?
There are things you've said about media houses.
No. Yes, and what have media houses said about other people?
No. I'm talking about...
No. Wait a minute.
You spoke about a media house.
Media houses...
Do you have any regrets?
No, I have no regrets. Media houses should be taken with the same level of scrutiny like the rest of us are taken. I come here, you ask me a question. Yeah? Media is not above being questioned. I come here, you ask me all sorts of questions.
Which is fine.
Yeah? So equally...
What you posted were insults.
Not
questioning.
Like, we can go there and talk about all the fake headlines we go through every day. So who is going to be the Caesar's wife? Who is going to say that they are clean? Media? Church?
You even threatened that you're going to take away advertising. You're going to take action against government officers who took adverts to a certain media house.
And I think some of those things are still there. I think it comes with the territory. But Romans 3 verse 23, for all have sinned and have fallen short of the glory of the Lord, including the media.
Do you have any regrets? I mean,
I have zero regrets.
Okay.
The media is not above reproach. The media is not above criticism. The same way they call us, they hold us to account, the same way they ask us questions, it is only fair that all of us set ourselves, open ourselves to that kind of scrutiny.
Honorable Moses Kuria, thank you so much for making time for us to have this conversation, and all the best with your plans moving forward. That has been the former Cabinet Secretary, Moses Kuria, speaking to us about what he has been up to and also what he thinks about the country where it is. We'll be sampling some feedback later on the show. But for now, we take a short break. When we come back, we have business and sports news. Stay tuned.
Muhoroni Sugar Company workers to be laid off by the end of October following takeover by a new investor.
Business news brought to you by Definite Assurance. We've got you covered. Fast claims settlement, PSV, private and commercial vehicle insurance. Visit definiteassurance.com. Definite Assurance. You are definitely covered. Uko nao.
Now, the Muhoroni Sugar Company, a state mill that was recently leased to West Valley Sugar Company, has issued a 2-month redundancy notice to all employees. In a memo dated 15th of August, Muhoroni Joint Receiver and Manager Harun Kirui indicated that the move was occasioned by the leasing and handover of the company in May of this year, and that all entitlements up to 31st of October will be settled in accordance to Section 40 of the Employment Act. Speaking to Citizen TV, Sugar Workers Union Secretary Francis Wangara indicated that the government had negotiated a 6-month transition period for the workers, during which it was to pay salaries. Wangara, however, noted that the union will be engaging with the lessee to negotiate proper terms for any workers that will be reabsorbed. West Valley Sugar Company Limited was handed a 30-year lease in May 2025 as part of efforts to revive the country's moribund sugar sector. Family Bank has announced a 38% growth in net profit for the first half of 2025, supported by strong revenue growth and a robust balance sheet. The lender's net earnings rose to 2.2 billion shillings, up from 1.6 billion shillings in a similar period last year. Here's Jasmine Omboy with the details.
Family Bank is crediting the significant jump in profits in the first half of 2025 to its 2025 to 2029 strategic plan, developed in collaboration with global strategy firm McKinsey. The Tier 2 bank has seen a 600 million shillings jump in profitability, reaching 2.2 billion shillings in the first half of the year.
This is our first year of 2025-2029 strategic plan. And during the first year of our strategic plan, we've put in place the initiatives that we need to put in place early enough. So we are going to invest, and we're investing a lot in creating the foundation for the next 5 years.
The lender's assets expanded by nearly 22% to 192.8 billion shillings, supported by a 10% growth in its loan book, which now stands at nearly 101 billion shillings. This was boosted by fresh funding partnerships with British International Investment and the European Investment Bank to scale up financing for small and medium-sized businesses.
We have seen ourselves grow. As I said, we are positioning ourselves as a preferred bank for Biashara.
Net interest income jumped almost 40% to 6.9 billion shillings, driven by higher earnings from government securities and loans. At the same time, customer deposits rose by 25.7% to 149.7 billion shillings. Operating costs increased by more than a third to 6.7 billion shillings. Even so, asset quality improved, with net non-performing loans dropping by 15%. To safeguard against potential risks in the current operating environment, loan loss provisions were raised to 663.5 million shillings.
And what happened is that there was reduction in disposable income. What that means is that the customers who would have maybe qualified for more credit, they are not able to qualify for more credit, and others maybe who had exhausted their third, they are left within a third, they start struggling, and you can see some level of increase in terms of non-performing portfolio, courtesy of reduced disposable income.
Family Bank ended the period with a liquidity ratio of 53.1%, well above the regulatory minimum. Over 90% of transactions are now conducted through digital channels. Jasmine Wamboi, Citizen TV.
Absa Bank has announced the launch of the Islamic Finance Practitioners Association, which aims to explore ways of increasing financial inclusion among members of the Muslim community. According to the bank, out of over 6 million Muslims in the country, barely 10% are included in the formal financial system. Speaking during the launch, Absa Bank head of Islamic banking, Tego Wolosa, noted that lack of a standardized regulatory framework continues to make it harder for financial institutions to come up with more Sharia-compliant products. Jimmy Mbogo reports.
In the first half of the year, Lariba Banking, the Islamic wing of Absa Bank Kenya, saw an increase in deposit to 31 billion shillings, raking in over 1 billion shillings in revenue. The bank also saw an increase in its Lariba banking customers, who stood at 53,000 as at June this year, reflecting what the lender now terms as a faster growth rate than in other banking products. However, the bank notes that despite the positive growth, Islamic banking remains highly untapped owing to lack of regulatory framework.
Where do we take this to make sure that, especially from a framework perspective, that we have a robust regulatory framework that can be able to set standards, can come up with policies that then can be able to govern and make sure that now this is sustainable. That's a way you can be able to take it to the next level.
We are growing faster than the conventional product, but we still have a huge distance to go because Lariba as a segment is still a small percent in the bank as a whole. But in terms of the promise, in terms of the growth, in terms of the liquidity, Lariba is making even a bigger growth.
The bank is further looking to close the year with a deposit of at least 36 billion shillings in Lariba, while expanding its loan book to over 7 billion shillings in the second half of the year.
So our main focus moving forward the next half of the year is mainly on the MSME space. And if you look at markets like Isli, where Lariba is actually the leading brand from banking, majority of the customers that come to us are business people who import clothes from abroad.
Following the formation of the Islamic Finance Practitioners Association, the bank has been asked to work with other players to advance regulation on Sharia banking by ensuring policy and regulatory standardization. Jimmy Mbogo, Citizen TV, Nairobi.
Accountants are pushing for stronger standards in governance and corporate reporting as the International Federation of Accountants Connect Africa Forum opens in Nairobi. The forum, co-hosted by the Pan-African Federation of Accountants and the Institute of Certified Public Accountants of Kenya, is designed to ensure international standards and best practices are applied to local solutions. Organizers say the forum provides a platform to strengthen trust in institutions, reinforce the role of professional accountancy organizations, and ensure Africa is well positioned to meet the expectations of financial markets, investors, and its citizens.
Sustainability is actually not optional now. This is something that must be mandatory. And from the African perspective, sustainability reporting is what will actually be our passport for investment. It will be our passport for trust, and it will be our passport where we are going to be included in this discussion. And I'm happy that what we are doing is that Africa is going to create the narrative. All along we've been following standards, but this time we are very much part of it.
Kenya, what is the drive in order to take forward the sustainability transformation? The first is not about the reporting. The first benefit is reshaping their business models in light of the risks and challenges that come from the changes with sustainability. The second is the better they can get information into their hands of investors, the ease in which capital flows will come.
Business News.
National football team, the Harambee Stars, have stepped up preparations for Friday's CHAN quarter-final clash against Madagascar at the Kasarani Stadium from 5 p.m. Harambee Stars earned the privilege of playing the quarter-final at home after finishing top of Group A. Madagascar looks like an easy fixture on paper, but the Southern Africans are fighters who finished second in a close fight with Mauritania in Pool B. They won 2 matches, drew 1 and lost 1. Their 39-year-old goalkeeper, Michel Ramandibi Soa, has picked 3 Man of the Match awards in the group stage with an astonishing 15 saves in keeping 2 clean sheets. Harambee Stars will have to sharpen the attack as they won 3 matches by an identical 1-0 margin and also scored 1 goal in a 1-0 draw against Angola. This is the 5th match for the Stars at Kasarani, and if they progress, they should expect a hostile atmosphere in the semi-finals to be played at the Benjamin Mkapa Stadium in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania. Defending champions Abdi Nageye of Netherlands and Sheila Chepkirui of Kenya headline a star-studded lineup at that has been confirmed for the 2025 New York Marathon on the 2nd of November. The elite men list is dominated by Kenyan beaters in marathon, including 2021 winner Albert Okoril, 2022 champion Evans Chebet, Paris Olympics bronze medalist Benson Kipruto, 2-time New York half marathon champion Abel Kipchumba, and 2024 London marathon champion Alexander Mutiso running in New York for the first time. On the women's side, Chepkirui leads 2024 podium finishers Helen Obiri and Vivian Cheriot back in the race. They will be joined by former champion Sharon Lokedi, meaning the past 3 winners will be gunning for top honors. To other story, siblings Adam and Sophia Nesbitt were in fine form as the Junior Golf Foundation US Kids Tour returned with a fall tour at the Royal Sports Club. Adam won the boys 12 category with a score of 3 over par, 7 shots clear of his nearest challenger. Sophia Nesbitt was in a class of her own as she dominated the girls 13 to 14 years old category, playing 6 over par. Chloe Shuri finished second, while Sikian Yu settled for third. Ashley Gashora was the toast of the tournament as she played level par to win the girls 11 to 12 years category. Zoya Nurani and Arlene Hadi finished second and third. Over winners of the day included Nawengshun Lee in the boys 14 years category, Aiden Muturi in the boys 15 to 18 years category, and Imani Mwangi in the girls 15 to 18 years category. The next tournament is the NCBA US Kids Golf Local Tour on the 24th of August at the VetLab Sports Club. The Patrons Cup 2025 has gained 2 new sponsors in Shabiki.com as well as View Travel. The 2 will boost the tournament at the Muthaiga Golf Club with a bumper entry expected from Friday. The tournament in its 4th year is held in honor of the late President Mwai Kibaki, who was the club patron.
It's a national elite amateur event, so we invite clubs from all over the country, and it's grown to 15 clubs this year in 5 different pools, who compete to survive in their pool or get promoted to different pools. So it will take place between August 22nd to August 24th.
Sports News, brought to you by... Back your favorite team as they battle for glory in the Total Energies CAF African Nations Championship 2024, right here on home soil.
All right, so we've come to the end of the show, but first let's take a look at the feedback that has come to us at Citizen TV Kenya. Sam Gituku, the hashtag to use is Citizen Explainer. Moses Kuria is a repository of history. The only problem is his tactical move. He doesn't want to open up and tell us the truth. I feel there's more than meets the eye. Little Mwendoa, you're saying it's sad that Honorable Moses Kuria regrets not finishing his goal on industrialization in this country. You clearly had a vision to help Kenyans. Okelo Mwalimu, corruption is the greatest disease that distorts and retards our economic growth. Any step taken to cure it is welcome. No one should dare shield anyone involved in spreading this unwanted disease in the name of protecting mtu wetu. Remember, ni pesa yetu wanaiba. Leonard Masika, did Honorable Moses Kuria say affordable housing is a good thing? He's wrong. Who are the beneficiaries of these houses? I thought these houses were supposed to be given to people in slums freely. Can these people afford to pay 1.5 million shillings per unit? Is the question Leonard Masika is asking. So that's our time here on The Explainer. My name is Sam Gituku. See you again some other time. Good night for now.